Welcome, everybody. Welcome to America's Third Party. I am David Sponheim, and this is part two. We had a major jet fly over our house, and I think some sort of a micro electrical burst happened, knocked the internet out. I'm not sure what that is, but it's not my expertise as to know how they would have that ability. In any event, we are always very concerned about what's happening. Sarah was discussing when we left you the possibility that Russia is sending in troops to Venezuela right now. And it raises the specter of a possible war between the U.S. and Russia. And you wonder, well, how could we be at war if Russia is colluding with the U.S.? And if you think that really there's total collusion, Dave, how could we possibly be at war? Why would we want to fight the Russians? That's what the people that own Russia and own America want to do. They want to play with their toys. And they've got a lot of toys like the F-35 they want to test out against the Chinese aircraft, the Chengdu J-20. They want to see a pairing off of these two planes. Maybe China could, have a possible encounter, or Russian jets with MiG fighters. Sure, they want to play. And guess what? They don't care if people die on either side. Because this is how wars have been fought all these years. They were always financed by one group. All wars are bankers' wars. They make money. They expand credit. They grow financially. I played a video for you in the last part one, which showed the incredible war machine that led to the Iraq and Afghanistan war. People like Dick Cheney and Rumsfeld all powwow with a lot of huge investors in large military industrial complex equipment. They make a lot of money on war. So they on both sides. So if these Zionists really are in control of Russia, which we think they are, they've been buying Russia ever since the breakdown of the Soviet Union. They took control. The oligarchs work directly with Russian government. Putin is their intermediary who likes money. He's very, very greedy, kind of like our own president, Donald Trump, who loves money. And the more they are greedy, the more likely they're being manipulated. So the people behind this single plan, we call Zionists. I think you can call them too Zionists, because this plan has been in place since the advent of the Zionist movement about 130 years ago. Now, you're wondering, what do you mean, Dave? I mean, why would they do this? Well, it turns out these are the same people that were behind Adolf Hitler's rise to power. Believe it or not, Hitler was a Zionist too. He was a person who wanted a state of Israel because they wanted to own the Ark of the Covenant, which they believed was in Jerusalem, in a temple. But that doesn't matter right now. What matters is here we are. Zionists got what they wanted, state of Israel, but now they want even more power. And you see, this is the problem. The inherent greed for lust for power, which these people have put them in a very big position that could hurt all of us, the little people. The people that wanted to go to the market and get a good price on milk or eggs. The people that have to work their ass off every week to make their minimum payments on their credit cards. They want to get us in a vulnerable position, and then they just want to slowly drain us and poison us and kill us off. And that's their big plan. Isn't this amazing, huh? Instead of solving the world's problems, cleaning the air and the water and making all of this much more livable with more food and more fresh water, they want to just covet the very land that we live on and own it all and get rid of us. That's what they're up to. You may not have that problem, Hillary, but other people are suffering from a tremendous amount of they're suffering. It's just flat out suffering. And not quite like Bill and you, who are clearly not getting by very well on that $5.4 billion you made from the Haitian donations that went into your foundation. But still, slumming. You and Bill slumming around in your jets, flying coach. I feel your pain. I feel your pain. I can only imagine how it is to go to Orgy Island on a coach liner. All day, every day. Well, you've had a lot of changes and diversity in your life, Hillary, but someone's going to have to take the reins of the Democratic Party, and I think it should be you. Believe it or not, I think you're ready to go. You just have to deploy your clone. I think so, seriously. Get her out there. She's ready to go. She loves it. Yeah, you don't have to just be Hillary. You can be Hillary et al. The entire group of clones that are just like you. Just imagine yourself with expanded personality. Think of, well, that's just hearsay. Hillary doesn't have seizures. That she was nodding about the latte when she had that. That was a big joke. But she could, and that's the problem. The real Hillary we've grown to love all these years, who's refuses to admit any wrongdoing, may not be feeling 100%. And in lieu of that, maybe her clone should run. And I'm sure many of you people would support that idea, because I don't think B2 is ready with his hit and run accident where he nearly killed a bunch of children on that when he was drunk at a .134 alcohol level back in Texas. Yeah, and he tried to run from the scene. That's not going to play well with the American people, let alone is it even a crime still. Juicy Smollett. Let's talk about Juicy, because he's used for diversion. I want to know what's really going on in American news right now that we're missing. That would be kind of interesting. So anyway, these people have the same power they've had since they took over with Hitler. They need to move that power structure up, so they found Trump. And Trump is working very diligently to present their plan of New World Order and also implement the 5G network, which theoretically could fry all of us like a bunch of little Tootsie Rolls in a Betty Crocker oven. Hi, White House Obamacare reversal made over cabinet objections. What's going on? Wow, this is a new headline. It just changed just now. Everything's dark. Yeah, it's just not picking it up. Let me move it over a little bit. Okay, I'll process this news right now. F-35 is still rebooting. Wow. Yeah, we're trying to get to better. We're making the F-35 better, that's true. But their gunning system still has to be perfected. And Boeing claims that they reworked the software on the 737 MAX 8. They're claiming that's going to be good, so who knows? Okay, the heads of the Justice Department and Health and Human Services Department opposed the unexpected switch to in legal tactics. The Trump administration's surprisingly move to invalidate Obamacare on Monday came despite the opposition of two key cabinet secretaries, Health and Human Services Secretary Alex Azar and Attorney General Bill Barr. Driving the dramatic action were the administration's domestic policy chief, Joe Grogan, and the acting director of the Office of Management and Budget, Russ Vought. According to three sources with direct knowledge of the decision, both are close allies of White House acting chief of staff Mike Mulvaney, who helped to engineer the move. Oh, that's nice. I don't really think this is going to go anywhere. Like I said, they're not going to repeal Obamacare. I said it from the beginning. I still say it. They're grasping at straws. They couldn't even, the House itself couldn't even overturn Donald Trump's Emergency Act for the border wall, which is pretty interesting. The House can't even come to agreement on whether there's an emergency at the border. So that's a good sign, actually, for us who want a fence, because we all want a fence. I know you guys do too. But the House can't even overturn that. So the fence is moving forward, which is a good thing. It's also a confirmation that my idea is right. Correct. A 1,000-mile fence is exactly what we need. But I just don't think Donald Trump is going to be able to spend that money properly. He's got too many cronies involved. It's the cement company that built the Florida overpass that collapsed and killed 6 people. CEMEX, they call it. That's the company that Trump is in bed with financially, and he wants to build. Go away. He wants to build a fence with this company. It's actually a Mexican company, so we'd be paying Mexico for the fence as opposed to Mexico paying us for the fence. So he wants to move in that direction, which is totally untenable. You know, a border wall is something that we've talked about, which I think can be managed with good old-fashioned containers. So the 1,000-mile container fence really does make much more sense. All right. Are they? You can. I don't recommend buying the noise canceling headphones because, for one, your eardrum is being canceled too. I don't know if they've really been tested. I notice that when I use them, I get this like vacuum on my head. Have you noticed that? You know, it's like your eardrums are being pulled out and your brains are dribbling out. Have you ever noticed your brains dribble out when you use those? The F-35 has a long boot up time, and there's a lot of issue with the gunnery system and the fact that it failed to meet specs in air-to-air combat battles with the F-16 on two separate areas. All I've been saying all along is that Patty Murray has been signing off on all these planes that should never have been built by Boeing. Boeing now with a track record of having, been responsible for a software glitch, which I'm sure they're going to be sued for by Ethiopia. You can only imagine how incompetent some of the aircrafts are that are flying above my head right now. I'm a little concerned that there's going to be a crash, frankly, just so you know. Yeah, I really, I kind of wonder, is this my last day on Earth? Or will I be vaporized by a crash from one of these jets that fly over me? And I've talked to Sarah about possibly moving away, but yeah, I could use those noise canceling, walking around in the yard, but I'm just wondering if it makes your eardrum vulnerable to have it like pulled like that. You know? They do not have the cabin pressure that the Bose do? Really? So they made them so that they don't suck your brains out of your head? Well, that's great. Now you got me interested. Thanks. Sony noise canceling headphones. Wireless Bluetooth over-the-ear headphones with mic and Alexa voice control. You see, that's where you lost me. The Bluetooth part, that's sending waves to your head. And you know something? What's really weird is they send the radiation from one side to the other right through your brain. So your right side is being fed by your left side or vice versa. I just don't trust all those electromagnetic waves going through my brain while I'm sitting there, especially considering it's a known fact that they alter your DNA. You may want to rethink that idea. Hey, here's the lineup here. Don Jr., all the other guys are all Trump associates that met with Russia. But according to Mueller, no, they didn't. There's no collusion at all. No, see how absurd that is? It's totally absurd. Yeah. Really, you'd rather get brain cancer than to listen to people. Wow. You really are a misanthrope. That's sad, dude. Have you ever considered moving to a remote area in Idaho and living in a cabin by yourself? Yeah. Okay, here's the answer to the question. Who was the only open casket victim in all 50 different terrorist attacks that have hit the American nation over the past 10 years? The answer is this guy. And it turns out he is obviously a wax dummy. Immigrant detention is a profitable business. Oh, yeah. They make a lot of money on the downside of that. That's why Trump and his cronies want to keep this border crisis rolling, and they want to milk every dollar they can out of the American people. They won't build a border fence for $1,000 or for 1,000 mile, $1 billion. They won't do it. I've calculated the cost of all these containers multiplied. Generally, you can get these wholesale for $2,000, multiplied by the number needed across, over 200,000, and then you get your number, which is about $528 million to pay for the containers themselves, leaving a tremendous amount just to build the container, set up all the necessary equipment for the container to be hardwired and Wi-Fi'd and infrared. We'll use all kinds of techniques to communicate. Redundancy is the key. And having sensors in every one of these containers to feel the motion of the ground, we'll be able to detect any building operations or tunneling operations, like the kinds that go on in Nogales, New Mexico. 160 plus tunnels have been built down there. Yes, immigration is a profitable business. That's why they profit. That's why they want this to go on. Yeah, the Democrats are full of hate. and they want to tax everybody. So they're no longer the party of fun, niceness. Plus, they can't be trusted. They sell out. They're easily bought. All right, much of the America was gripped by the horrific images of children being ripped from the arms of family members as a result of the Trump administration's zero-tolerance policy, but an equally insidious and malignant factor in this disaster for profit prisons. Yeah. So zero tolerance isn't just the driving force. The reason why there's 4,500 kids missing right now from their mommy and daddy, and still Trump doesn't care, and apparently the Republicans don't care at all, is because of this for-profit prison system that makes money, leeches government tax dollars off of these poor innocent children. They're just like cattle being herded around and treated like cattle. And it's not like the Democrats did any better. They were completely remiss as well. Yeah, it's the two parties. You can go after the two parties now that we have a third party. You can start picking on both of them simultaneously. Let it out. Let it flow. Okay. I think I can flipboard. I'm going to finally flipboard the story on Alex Jones going after the father who is suing him in court, claiming something's weird about it. I think it is weird. I agree. I think there is something going on with the guy dying. He doesn't seem like he would qualify as a person who would kill himself. He was a neurosurgeon, and this man here, he was a neurosurgeon, or a neuroscientist, I should say, who had developed a complete fund opportunity to make money, I guess, to help research advance as to why kids become violent. I don't know. Her face looks a little fake to me, but him dying now is a little suspicious because he seemed like a decent guy. He looks a lot like the guy who sold me a car one year. But anyway, he's dead. And he left a note, and nobody's heard from the note. I've been looking all over the internet. Nobody can find the note, what he said. Yeah, let's go after hating the Democrats and Republicans tonight. I don't mind doing that if you don't mind. Yeah, just rip into both parties. Cut them a new one. Let's just go after them verbally and just pick them apart. They're so corrupt. They are. All the Republicans do is pass laws for tax breaks for the rich. And all the Democrats do are simply plan to tax you for things that they just want to do to help save the world. And they never do save the world. They're just always planning on saving the world. And charge tax dollars. Yeah, Trump doesn't care about poor people. Exactly. Republicans look at homeless people like they're dirt. Democrats would say they care, but they haven't solved the problems in San Francisco where you can walk down any street and find a bag of crap sitting there on the curb and hit the crap app and automatically send it to your local official, and they geolocate the crap so that some cop will pick it up and put it in the back of his trunk. You got to wonder how many cops are picking up crap in San Francisco. Who else would do that work? Hillary won the entire popular vote. We have Hillary in the room if you'd like to talk to her. Hillary, they're contesting your 3 million vote win over Donald Trump. Can you believe that? She'll be upset about this. We don't know if it's her clone or not. Hillary won the popular vote. Silly. Hillary she has Jewish ancestry, Ashkenazi, yes. Hillary has Ashkenazi ancestry, we know that. I'm not here to pick on Ashkenazis or Jews. I really am not. I think you're getting the wrong impression from me. I'm trying to label them the greediest of these people as the problem. Because there is a subset of Ashkenazis that are ruling our government right now. I have only to recite the facts in front of me. Yeah, so Putin has Russian ancestry, but he is a close contact with Russian Ashkenazis and oligarchs. who've been working. Yeah, and the people around Trump are also Ashkenazis, and they're all connected through Shabbat Leibovich, Trump's that's where Ivanka and Jared go to synagogue.
Bennett LeBeau, donor, Trump Victory Fund, Ashkenazi Jew. Richard Lesser, member, President Trump's Strategic and Policy Forum, Ashkenazi Jew. Ronald Lieberman, Executive Vice President of Management and Development, the Trump Organization, Ashkenazi Jew. Howard Lorber, donor, Trump Victory Fund, member, Trump Economic Advisory Council, Ashkenazi Jew.
There's a lot of Jews in Jews in and around Donald Trump, and there's a lot of Ashkenazi Jews in and around Vladimir Putin. Are you getting the picture? Thank you. So we're not dealing with just kind of something like collusion or no collusion. We're dealing with total collusion. Tikkun, a directed energy weapon technology, is something that's used to fry houses, like in Paradise, California. What happened to those poor people is likely at the root of what they were doing was to try to access the gas. Here's a fracking map from PG&E. And PG&E owns all the rights, the mineral rights to all this land underneath his houses. So in order to acquire total control of that land, they could have used one of two methods. They could have used eminent domain laws and gotten access to the property by buying up property piece by piece, which is the legal way. Or they could engage in what many people call weather warfare. They could dehydrate the area, getting rid of all the moisture in that region, creating fires. Combine that with the technology of directed energy weaponry, they could have easily burned those houses in Paradise. Yeah. Totally possible. Yeah, what is a directed energy weapon? This is what a directed energy weapon. We have photographs. These were taken at the California fires by cameras. This is not made up. This is not photoshopped. These are actual directed energy weapons were shot down on houses to burn them. Cinders. So they dry it out with weather warfare, and they burn it out with this this directed energy weapon. And this is something that's readily available. In fact, right nearby Paradise was a base where they house the weapons themselves on the vehicle. The planes have these directed energy weapons on them. They're microwave beam technology. The government doesn't talk about this stuff, and that's why they don't, because they don't want anyone to get worried that they might just burn you in your house. Certain systems on aircraft interfere with band spectrum on the wireless Wi-Fi router and other communications and vice versa. There is, in fact, an electromagnetic interference between all Wi-Fi designs and certain aircraft navigational communication systems. Well, that's probably it. You know, they've been making such low approaches to our house lately. It's been getting worse and worse. I don't know. If you've had avocados that are not washed off properly, you could get listeria, yeah. There's a 33% chance that you could have listeria. You may want to look up its symptoms and ask your doctor. Bernie Sanders promises an easier way of life for young Americans because he's trying to, take as many ideas as he can. Has he come out with a basic income? Because that's my idea. I know Kamala Harris was talking about a $500 basic income, but we didn't get anywhere with that. She's offering a tax credit, I understand. So. But yeah, our offer of $500 per month for every U.S. adult citizen who's not currently getting Social Security and disability is designed to help stimulate the economy and create a baseline for everybody who is suffering in America. But we can't help people who are illegal aliens that are coming in over the border, like this video shows. Let's take a look. We can't give you $500 a month. Well, let's be clear. Wow, we are really having internet problems here.
It always gets dark before the
It should play.
North on 281 south of the scales, correct?
Devil.
That works at 1080. We're gonna go 281 southbound. Right across the old Garza's store.
Oh my God. There's like 15 people there. Oh my goodness. Andale. Arriba. It's a lot. I got that link down. Thank you. I do a little link maintenance tonight. Right as we closed the last show, I was talking about Sater, the guy who's still popping up. This whole Trump thing is not going away, folks. You can think that Mueller's wrapped it up. There's so much down there that is going to bubble to the surface that we'll be talking about Trump and his collusion for a long, long time. So don't think it's over. It's total collusion. Here's Sater, a guy who worked for Trump and knew Trump, and Trump denied knowing. And absolutely said he didn't even know him. New York developer Felix Sater is due to testify in Congress this week about his role in Donald Trump's attempt to build a luxury tower in Moscow. A lawsuit filed Monday may provide new fodder for his inquisitors, with its claim that Sater, a longtime associate of Trump, sought to use money stolen from a bank in Kazakhstan to help develop the building. Yeah. Lots of shenanigans going on with Sater. And Moscow tower building operation, according to Giuliani, was going on at the same time that Trump was actually telling people he wasn't doing business with Russia. The timeline crossed. And now Giuliani's saying that was a hypothetical date he mentioned about the Moscow deal with the Moscow tower. They were offering Putin a $50 million penthouse suite as a perk to get that built. While Trump said there's no business with Russia, I've got no business with Russia whatsoever. Nothing. You can't, it's all a hoax. It's all been the whole thing's been a total hoax from the very beginning. He keeps repeating the same thing he told Lester Holt the day he fired James Comey. Sorry, dude. That's obstruction. I don't care what Mueller says. And I'm sorry that the legal system in our country isn't responding properly to the obvious obstruction of justice going on. 15 of the largest cargo ships in the world create more emissions than 750 million cars in the world. Wow. This is a white, it's not your muffler on your car. Most cars are polluting less and less with catalytic converters. They want to blame the whole thing on you and your muffler and the flatulence that you release when you go to bed and your wife says, honey, don't fart. I hate it. Cargo ships are the world's worst polluters. So how can they be made to go green? We need to scrub their emissions. That's what we need. Yeah. Shipping produces more carbon emissions than most countries and pollutes the oceans. Will slowing vessels or make them electric do enough? Yeah, good luck with that. I think we need to cap their emissions and create Venturi scrubbers on the tops of every blowhole they've got. Filter the air, people. Come on, people now. Filter the air we breathe. Everybody get together. Right on love one another right now. Yeah, baby. That's what I'm talking about. Filter the air. You never hated Obama? Well, you never knew he was gay either. Not that you would hate him because he's gay, but he did lie to you. He was a homosexual. He is a homosexual. Anyway, let's get back to the real issue. Trump and Putin sitting on the fence. Kissing. Yeah, they're in bed together. The whole thing is completely total collusion now. And they rigged this entire thing. They wasted so much time Yeah, he didn't bother to even get any 10 years of tax returns, nothing. Mueller didn't even investigate Sater in the Moscow Tower deal, yet he said there was no collusion. This is a joke. This whole thing is a complete wrapped up joke. And we found out from someone in our room who claims to who worked for Mueller, that he really likes money. Giuliani said that he got $30 million, Mueller did. Yeah. And on the heels of the fakery of the New Zealand attack that we saw, and that's why they got rid of all the videos, by the way. On the wheel or the heels of the New Zealand thing, New Zealand gun owners are voluntarily handing over semi-automatic rifles to police. We don't need these in our country. Well, there you go. Would you like to listen to some propaganda from the woman who is working for the New World Order? Let's listen in.
Primary perpetrator. There were 2 semi-automatic weapons and 2 shotguns. The offender was in possession of a gun licence. I'm advised that this was acquired in November of 2017. A lever-action firearm was also found. While work is being done as to the chain of events that led to both the holding of this gun licence and the possession of these weapons, I can tell you one thing right now: our gun laws will change. There have been attempts to change our laws in 2005, 2012, and after an inquiry in 2017. Now is the time for change.
Yeah, well, you're getting a big change. You're going to be taken over by a New World Order authority who's been buying up property left and right. Okay, am I online? Is video on? Let's make sure I'm still operating here. Okay, Misanthropy just found a huge amount of information. Yeah, according to him, George Soros made a big donation to the prosecutor in the Jussie Smollett case. Let's take a look at this again. Hang on. According to him, George Soros donated over $400,000 to Kim Fox, the prosecutor who let Smollett be released. Okay, let me check it out. $400,000. Let's see if we can spot that. Donald, you go to bed, Donald. It's time to go to bed. Vladimir says it's okay to go to bed. Nighty-night, Donald. Okay. George Soros is donating all this money. Look at this, to this woman. Every one of these so totals it up to, yeah. Wow. Illinois Safety and Justice. BIS for Illinois. Raja for Illinois. Okay, so you glean this from here? You got her name on here? I don't see her name. Am I missing something? Anyway, that in and of itself is pretty disturbing. Global carbon levels reached a record high. Okay. That doesn't surprise me. They're spraying chemicals in the air constantly. Yeah. Pollution. Let's not forget the dreaded chemtrails. That definitely contributes to global climate change. No question about it. No doubt about it, man. No doubt about it. Playing the chemtrail video, Dave. Emissions growth in the United States, Asia fueled record carbon levels in 2018. Nah, I don't think so, man. Take a look at the chemtrail, man. You look at the chemtrail, much more influence than you know, man. Why am I talking like a reggae guy? I don't know, man. Okay. Total collusion, total chemtrails. Yeah, that works. Look at the chemtrail. I mean, this is going on all the time, folks. It is. Chemis in the air. Do. I love to watch the chemis in the air. It makes me feel kind of numb all over. Okay, well, I think it's time to, stop with the chemtrails, Dave. Yeah, we can move on. Thank you. Well, I'm glad that you could attend my show. As you know, the show goes to the top of the hour, in which I will then play videos well into the evening. I hope this works for all of you. Oh, sorry. I'm real. I'm human. Right, Ellie? I do not use Vaseline, Aquamex. No, this is just a day of hair and blowing in the wind. Tomorrow will be a different look. Wasteful Wednesday, I take the completely opposite look. Every day is a different three-dimensional hair alignment issue that we have to go through. Every day it was a definite match, I know. I couldn't believe it.
Terrible Tim is back on the scene.
Wow.
The news is fake.
Well, good. Terrible Tim's going to sing us some more songs with his amazing, obnoxious voice. But hey, why not? What I like about Terrible Tim is he's not afraid to be himself. That's what makes the rich internet rich. People being themselves, even never lose truth, trying to figure it all out, telling people what it's all about. No, they will not fix the Fukushima problem. They want us all to be poisoned with corium and plutonium and cesium. That's part of the long-term decay of the human species as they slowly destroy us. And most of us are so powerless that they know they've got total control over the situation. Mike Decker. Oh, this is Scissor Fight. Wow. This is over your house, man? Wow. That's pretty cool. Relaxing music by Scissor Fight. Enjoy the beautiful chemtrails as they poison our atmosphere. Hey Dave, Trump is going to run in 2020. Yes, he is. I'm not voting for him. No, unless he chooses me as his vice president, I'm not voting for him. Here it is, George Soros. You got the coverage. Thank you. We already know about the coverage. Okay, let's get ready, Chicago. I'm ready to go. I'm ready to go to Chicago and face the riots. There's going to be an outrage over the Jussie Smollett case. I'm not sure what's going to happen, but yeah. Oh, hang on. We have a flyover. It could be jamming our electronics. George Soros spent $408,000 on Kim Foxx, prosecutor in Jussie Smollett case. Wow. They just bought him off. Basically, they got him free so he could go around pretending to have more hate crimes committed against him. They could still claim there's a hate crime committed against somebody like Jussie. If it's juicy for the news, it'll be juicy for us to divert our attention from the real player here. My eyes are burning. I've got to get him off the screen. I was not petting Amber. No, I'm still here. Petoro, the Juan Gabriel had nothing to do with the viewers. Yeah. Most people believe that Juan Gabriel died, except for you. And you got another story? Dark Engine has a similar story? Wow, the things are flying on Jussie Smollett. Wow. This is great. Hey, Scissor Fight, I'm going to play more of that audio and the beautiful the incredibly weird chemtrails over your house in just a second. Great video, though. Wow. Allies asked Kim Foxx to intervene. Leaked texts, emails show. Wow. Well, there you have it, folks. Rigging, corruption, the underbelly of our government. Michelle Obama got a hold of Kim Foxx and got her to get him off. If you understand what I'm saying. So y'all know that this man is definitely he gave $3,500 two thugs to conduct a hate crime against him, all because he's now pretending to be a blackface. Okay, I will admit it. I am not Jussie Smollett. I know many people think I am, but I am not. Bottom line is, I say what I want to say. You understand me? And you can't talk me like I'm a black man when I'm clearly not. I'm white. Well, this facial technology is fantastic. I'm so glad I have this system installed. I hope it's not freaking you out. Sorry. Well, I appreciate that, man. Because you told me a lot about the Kim Fox thing without me knowing about it. I know now what it's all about. I'm just so tired of hearing about it. It's got to be a diversion. What else is going on in the news that's pending, that's serious? I am not Jussie Smollett. I am not. You can't pin that on me, man. Breaking live. Breaking dead. Uh-oh. Hold on. Michelle Obama knew Jussie Smollett very well. And Michelle's former chief of staff, Tina Chen, reached out to Kim Fox about the Smollett case. This is now under investigation. Man, this is heavy duty, baby. I've never seen anything so close to Michelle Obama, and this is definitely going to derail her chances of becoming president of the United States in 2020. That's for sure. Yeah. We don't know. We banned Zeno a while. He's been allowed to come under Zeno forever. Man, that's a pretty cool breaking news, baby. Finally, a little, release that maybe the corruption at the core of Chicago and the prosecution department is being revealed to the American people. Maybe we'll get a little kind of a yin-yang bounce back from all the corruption with Mueller and William Barr, the Russian collaborator, or what appears to be a Russian collaborator, writing a letter in defense of Michael Flynn, who turned out to be a Russian collaborator. I mean, hello. Oh, I'm sorry. Did I interrupt you? Go ahead.
Hey, do you ever wonder, like, what is going on? I mean, like, do you ever, like, wake up or do something and you're just like, what the fuck is going on?
I'm sorry. I didn't understand a word you said. No, I didn't have a traumatic brain injury. I was showing you preparing for the Chicago riots that are coming. Once the whole thing with Jussie Smollett comes around, we're in trouble. Oh yeah. People are not going to take it. They will not sit back and take this lie and cheat and deceit by the Illuminati. They're definitely going to be getting pissed off, baby. I don't mean, like Henry Kissinger meeting with President Trump.
Talking about Syria, and I think...
I'm not talking about Henry Kissinger meeting with Trump. That's all an Ashkenazi thing. And the Russian oligarchs and all that. I'm talking about what's going down in Chicago. Because all eyes on Chicago. Let's take a look. Rahm Emanuel is on record saying this is ridiculous, basically. I never really thought I'd be quoting Rahm Emanuel, but stranger things have happened. After the recent obvious New Zealand fakery, we're kind of reeling, and maybe Jussie's being used as another diversion tactic, especially after Mueller. It could be this is just a big diversion tactic that, Michelle might be behind it, but maybe it's just a diversion tactic because they're so good at that, I don't remember when Chicago was a great city. I didn't live there. I've met people from Chicago, from tough areas. I knew a guy who grew up in the south side of Chicago. Yeah. And back in the 30s and 40s, it was a tough city, baby. That's what I'm talking about. I won't be attending the 2020 Olympics in Tokyo. I will, however, send one of my three-dimensional CGI inversions in my stead. Yes, I plan on diversifying and sending out my CGI characters everywhere in theaters near you. I don't want to admit that, okay, Spanish court, FBI was offered stolen data by North Korean embassy intruder. Whoa. 1 of 10 people who entered consulate by force in February contacted FBI, High Court says. Huh. Wow. North Korean embassy intruder broke in and tried to get that information to the U.S. government through the FBI. That's weird. I don't know what to say. I mean, it's an odd little story, but wouldn't we rather talk about juicy? This story is getting serious, and I'm losing time. I got to do an extended show. A U.S. destroyer sailed by your house today, Ab? Really? That's pretty cool. We got more breaking news developing right now as we speak. I can't leave the show. I got to do an extended show. Developing Chicago PD says they have far more evidence against Jussie Smollett hoax attacks that they hadn't even released. We were ready to present it all at trial in a rock-solid case, but can't due to court's decision. Whoa. So we're going to have to, many of you people who are hardworking men and women of the Chicago PD are going to have to recognize there's some serious corruption at the top with the Michelle Obama connection. Ever since Tammany Hall, the Chicago people have been facing all kinds of corruption charges, but now we're going to have to go back in and clean out the Chicago, central government, obviously. I don't know if Rahm Emanuel's in on this. It looks like he's not. So he's in the outs. So Rahm Emanuel may turn out to be a good guy for Chicago. All I'm saying is we've got to work with the people that understand that something's wrong with the justice system there. And if Rahm is saying something, hey, I'm more than willing to listen to him. Absolutely. Remember, I don't hold grudges against people just because I may have exposed them in the past as being possibly working, against the better good of America. Yeah. I mean, I haven't been kind to Rahm Emanuel in the past. We've got lots of records of me talking about him. But at the same time, if he's onto something, we may need the mayor to actually fix this. Don't you think he's the guy? I think so. Bacteria can travel thousands of miles through the air on its own. Well, is that special? You mean I'm breathing somebody else's crap right now? Okay. Bacteria can travel thousands of miles through the air on its own. A new study is providing evidence that bacteria can fly thousands of miles through the air without depending on people and animals for transport. The new air bridge theory may explain how harmful bacteria have the same antibiotic-resistant genes in common. I don't know. What's interesting is most of the genetically altered viruses and bacteria have been worked on in labs. Most of them have been protein synthesized in labs. How do we know that the labs are genetically modifying every one of these bacteria and virus? They're blaming the airwaves. I mean, come on, give me a break. I can't say that. Sorry, only once. Trademarked. It's a trademark statement. John Stossel, trademark. Give me a break. So I can't say it more than a couple times, and I have to reference his name. Please don't monetize me, John. Don't monetize the next three or 4 minutes talking about anything. Whew. Okay, lots of BS to process every day. If you haven't found this out, we did discuss the truth about the New Zealand police happening. They were doing a training session the very day, and now the news is saying, oh, it's so lucky they were there at the right time to capture this man. Well, we were watching the video. All of us saw the video. And we couldn't help but notice that his actions represented like a guy in a video game. He was pretty much calm and courteous. We spotted the red guy with the flagging. All the people around him were making signs to him, giving him thumbs up, all kinds of things. The entire thing was staged. And this is part of the staging. They were ready to go with a training session going on at a mosque nearby. And yeah. And let's not forget the famous CGI of the shell casings flying out of the gun. Obvious CGI. No, it wasn't true. I'm so sorry. Yeah, nothing about it was true. Calling the Christchurch massacre and the rise of right-wing extremism is not something I would ever play in our show. And I'm afraid I cannot have you in the show. You're of no value. Goodbye. You can come back in 5 minutes, though. You got a 5-minute purge. We don't need puppets for the government in here. Pizdets. We know you're working for the government. You can't hide yourself in the show. Yes, that's right. Putin is raising the stakes. Putin has every reason to raise the stakes. Putin controls the president now, and he's already gotten past controlling Mueller. The Trump-Putin connection is total collusion, and these people are working collaboratively right now to push into Venezuela and start a war there, or at least consolidate power from Maduro. I don't personally have a problem with Maduro remaining in power in Venezuela. I would like him to help feed his families and people that are obviously suffering. But this is a real serious problem when Russia is now sending in troops. Warthog Productions is going to talk about it tonight.
3 months after the two nations held military exercises on Venezuelan soil that President Nicolas Maduro called a sign of strengthening relations. Tracking website Flightradar24, Ministry and Foreign from Russia and China.
Okay, so Russia and China are participating. That's news in a microsecond. News in a nanosecond. That's what I like to provide. Russia's invading, yeah. It's just they've consolidated power here in America. Now the New World Order is working on developing. They owned Putin too. The New World Order is now trying to take over all of the soft tyranny states or countries like Canada. Well, New Zealand first, then Australia, then Canada, then maybe England, maybe the U.S. Yeah, it's a complete control, and they want to pretty much consolidate power so that none of us ever are able to defend ourselves. Just like Hitler did with the Jews. So this is a plan that's been going on for a long time. And it's just part of the evolution of what they've been doing. People have raised objection. Many people have come out fighting for the truth.
Plus, he is a vowed homosexual.
And no one listens to people like, well, I listen to him. That's Reverend Manning. Talking about Barack Obama, the long-legged Magdalene. Yeah. You're all for Russia and China protecting Venezuela from the Americans. Oh, so you're rooting for the enemy. Who cares? They aren't really... The thing is, all parties are controlled by the New World Order. They're going to continue to test their weapons and have wars wherever they want. And we're just going to sit and watch and be part of it like good puppet idiots that we are. You want to practice your grass eating, or would you like to practice your baaing today? We're working on a chorus of baa. All of us can baa together. I think it's kind of cool that we finally found our place in the world as just sheep. Or would you rather be cattle? Your choice. You got choice. At least cattle or sheep. Yeah. Meh. Meh. Well, it's copyright free, and it doesn't cost me anything to play some sheep. There we go. Isn't that nice? Soothing. The soothing sounds of sheep in the pasture. Well, I'm here with my shepherd's wand to pull them in. Come on, guys. I don't want my flock drifting too far, because if you consider voting Democrat or Republican, you're pretty much consigning your soul to Satan. I just think we need to get a centrist alliance together, and the best way to do that is to not align ourselves with the Democrats or Republicans. Constantly think of a third alternative. I had one guy in our show saying, "What are you doing this for? It's a waste of time. Nobody's ever going to vote for a third party." Ralph Nader already tried that. Well, have you ever seen Ralph Nader? Ralph Nader he doesn't come off like a guy who could become a president. I mean, come on. I mean, even, when he was running, his ideas were good, but he didn't look very presidential. That's my point. And I'm wondering if a guy can't look a person straight in the eye and he's looking in different directions. I mean, that doesn't really bode well for a person speaking, I mean, yeah, you're going to vote for a cockeyed third-party guy? Sure, yeah, okay. Well, okay. Vote for Dave. Yeah. Or that other guy, Glenn Johnson. What a joke that guy turned out to be. They put him in the race in 2012 just to make it seem like he was actually, going to run a third-party venture. I mean, how ridiculous. Look at this, Gary Johnson.
And based on that, I think I could stand up there for the whole debate and not say
The Russians took over Syria. They consolidated power in 400 populated regions. Yeah, Gary is a Johnson. America's mad that Venezuela moved on to the Petro Yuan and they can go in there and steal and all sell Venezuela's oil to their rich buddies like they do everywhere else. Yeah, well, we blew it when we sent Goldman Sachs in. You're sending in the wrong people to help with a socialist nation. I mean, how did they ever expect Maduro to answer to the capitalist regime around him? He had only one solution for his own people, and the approach was wrong. Goldman Sachs was camped out in Venezuela for the past 2 years. They've been working on the side, but Russia's been there too. They're just slowly trying to take over with Guaido, which I don't think is going to work if they can't get their weapons sent in through humanitarian channels like Maduro is worried about. He's doing the right thing by not allowing people to send in anything into his nexus of power. He can't control what comes in the border. That could be a bomb. It's terribly unsafe for him to allow any kind of donation, even if his people are starving. What I'm promoting is something that would help the people of Venezuela, and I really do care that they're suffering. I really do care that they're suffering, and I want to help. I would have never imposed a travel ban on Venezuelans, but Trump did that, which kept a lot of them from leaving their country and coming here with their families. That was a horribly inhumane thing to do. I would never have reinstated or even installed a travel ban like Trump did. And the only reason why he did it is because he was being reviewed in court for having an anti-Muslim bend. So he added Venezuela as a non-Muslim country, which kind of screwed them up completely. But this is a simple solution to the people of Venezuela that would provide, the people of, obviously Venezuela gets this. We can't drop it on them, though. That's the thing. We actually have to, I'm going to remove total collusion. There we go. We actually have to drop it sideways. We have to get approval from Maduro to do that. We have to drop it along an area that people can scavenge. Otherwise, they're going to starve to death in Venezuela. I doubt Russia will get them more than a few bottles of vodka and a couple cans of sardines. Seriously. Russia is not a very rich nation. So they're kind of gambling with all of this military advancement. Russia has actually run themselves pretty thin. When they were the former Soviet Union, they spread themselves so thin that they lost the infrastructure of the Soviet Union. Russia's trying to do that again, which is a very bold and daring move. But if the people running Russia don't care, they just simply want to keep testing the boundaries of their power, then that's what they're doing. And they won't get the people the food because they're not really concerned about people. These are people that are trying to get rid of people. They don't care about people. Well, yeah, Russia does that, but remember, the people running both America and Russia don't care if both countries fight at any given time because they control the nuclear option. There was a time when mutually assured destruction was a viable fact of life, but the reason why all those boundaries are being tested now is because we've already bridged past that. The people that run those countries believe that they can have conventional wars against each other and it wouldn't affect anyone. It wouldn't go nuclear. So they win by selling weapons that kill people. And remember, their ultimate goal is to kill people. And then they want to get rid of 90% of the population in the next 10 or 15 years. So they're using all means possible to advance their goal and establish total hegemonic control over the world. This is a new world order power grab is what's happening. New Zealand and the control the media is given them is their first step. Now they just have to keep dumping gun control issues on the American people. Like Marco Rubio just announced a gun control measure, which Scissor Fight brought to me. Thank you very much, Scissor Fight. Yeah, gun control is being pushed by Marco Rubio in the House. And you're saying, what do you mean? He's a Republican. Yeah, I don't have that story in front of me right now for some reason. Afghanistan heroin is funding Islamic indoctrination, and the methods of acquiring wealth to perpetuate the jihad should be known by every Westerner. This involves people as powerful as the Clintons all the way down to the state level. Yeah, well, the Gulen schools are the group that has been getting a pass by Betsy DeVos. And the Gulen schools have been noted for breeding grounds for Islamic jihadism. Doesn't surprise me. Thanks for the link. I'll play this tonight.
Whenever you hear about some Antifa group being funded or protesters inciting violence at a free speech rally, George Soros' name almost always comes up. And it's because the places he invests his money tend to make the news.
What do you think about white people? What do you think?
Okay, interesting story. I'll play it tonight. Thank you. All right. The Periscope show's down? Huh. Okay, let me get it up and running again. Hang on. Yeah, we're just kind of piecing together the... Huh. Yeah, it really did go off. Okay, let me get back in there. Yeah, I have to reset up a new number because when I got hit with the RF attack, everything kind of locked out and I had to create a new account. So I'll open up a new venue. Thank you. Yeah, so I think piecing the whole thing together at this point is they're controlling all sides of this scenario. So the good news is we're not likely to have nuclear war between Russia and America or China, because the people who are consolidating power are trying to control all those countries. The bad news is their end game is destruction of 90% of the human population. They can't blow us up with nukes because it'll destroy the atmosphere forever for all of their descendants. But these inbred scumbag rich elitists actually think that they themselves have been chosen to be the overseers of the earth. So you're looking at a massive power grab against humanity right now. Okay, I'm going live. We're going live. Do it live. All right. Hi. There we go. Here's the link. I tweeted it as well. Thanks. So, you know, you're here at the Metal Ward. Great. If we just say stay out of Venezuela, let Putin do his thing, that make no to every lance, yeah? We're just not going to get in on the Venezuelan oil. That's a loss for Goldman Sachs, but they're just a small part of the puzzle. The Russian oligarchs will take care of the oil. They'll do plenty with it, yeah. It's just that aspect wins over our aspect. Look at it like a board game, and we're playing Risk, and there's no risk to anybody because we own the board game. Let's just say the Illuminati owns the board game. Now, we can stand up to these people and stop this takeover of the world simply by building a third party. It's a total solution. It's like we unlock their ability to control the world. Because the strongest player in this scenario is the U.S. We have the strongest military and the greatest might. And we could easily take these other countries on with a single attack. If they don't have us in their clutch, they lose everything. So we really are holding the keys to stopping this dangerous Russian takeover of our government by simply building a third party and winning in 2020. It's the secret to the solution. He's mocking us. He thinks that it's a big joke that they can control America. This man is very confident in his ability to eliminate his enemies, even with polonium, and evade detection and any scrutiny in world courts. He's also very greedy, and he's made over $200 billion off the Russian oligarchs. I should repeat, the Russian Zionist oligarchs, because that's what ties this whole thing together. So if you can take anything from the show, it's glean this. The Nazis we did not finish the Nazis off in World War II. The Ashkenazis are still up to their old games, controlling, manipulating, and forging a union to take over all of us and drain us dry, kill us off. They did it in Germany with the Jews. They'll do it again here on Earth. And that's the problem that we have to intercept. That's the thing we're going to have to do what our forefathers did, who fought the Nazis in Germany. That we now have them embedded in our country, and now we have to fight them politically because they control the two-party system. Israel's a good nation. There's nothing wrong with Israel. Israel's established. It has its own purpose, but Israel's not behind this. The Zionists that brought us Israel are behind this. Israel's not the bad guy. I don't even dislike Netanyahu. It's bigger than that. I don't really follow Sun Tzu. I don't believe in attacking other countries. I'm more a Lao Tzu person. I'm not in any way siding with Israel. I will be more than willing to impose the possible economic restraints on them if they continue violating the rights of Palestinians. I'd like to see a state of Palestine formed in the Gaza Strip. I'd like to lead an effort with Netanyahu or whoever's in charge in that country to actually get a solution that's monitored by maybe the UN authorities or Israel included, to make sure that there are no guns going into shipments in and out of the Gaza Strip. And I think an open port would be something that Gaza could use as long as it's monitored by an international agency. That's something I think we could develop. Fresh water in the Sinai. We could collaterally work with Egypt to help fresh water development. And the more fresh water, the better, because at the very basic core, mankind has suffered from a lack of water. If we solve the fresh water problem here on Earth and then lead to food and prosperity for all nations, we won't have to worry about these conniving scumbags who want to take over the world and get rid of 90% of the population. The Earth will blossom with growth, and people will have children. We'll manage the Earth better with environmental solutions like green, clean technologies, and we will begin to see the reparation of this sore of a world that we're living in right now. It's like an open sore. We need to heal it. And we can't heal it with this greed taking over our nation or creating a global world government. The only way we're going to solve this is the nation-state model, which has persisted for thousands of years, will solve this. We can all do better in our own regions to solve our own problems than to have some global authority take over and tell us what to do. We have to solve the core problems facing humanity, though. Fresh water is the key problem. Once we have fresh water, food grows. Voila, magical miracle. It's amazing. Isn't it amazing? You plant the seed and it grows with water and sun and nutrition. Some people wonder how much Vladimir Putin is worth. It depends who you ask. His net worth has been estimated as high as $200 billion. But if you ask him, he lives in a small, here it says 200 billion here. He lives in a small Moscow apartment and he doesn't have any money. Only 200,000 a year is his salary. Whenever he runs for election, he's always very poor. He's got the whole Russian nation hoodwinked. But they control Trump. In Russian social media, they have a thing called Trump Nash, which means we own Trump. Trump is ours. Never forget that. And they're powered up by this. They've been chosen as the group the New World Order wanted to take over our country. They feel very proud to be chosen. And the people that work in the cyber intelligence, they're working really hard to take over our country. This is how the Illuminati does it. They slowly break down national barriers by buying up people like Putin and Trump. And if you're that stupid that you'd put Donald Trump in the presidency, thinking he's going to help you get rich, when he is completely controlled with loans left and right to China, Russia, you name it, Deutsche Bank, Trump is leveraged heavily. You got a problem. You must really be an idiot to think that Donald Trump is not viable and controlled by Vladimir Putin or any number of people. Sheldon Addison owns Trump. Exactly. Thank you. Sure, you want to post links, fine, whatever. World Summit 2018, Day 1 highlights. Wow.
The World Government Summit has now become an important international meeting, and I want to thank His Highness Sheikh.
Yes, and these people are working collaterally through the UN to control countries like ours. They'll add every bit of it. It's an elite game, and these people are playing it. They need to control our country. They need to install a puppet leader like Trump. And they need people like you to be mindless who think that it's okay for Trump to be your leader. They essentially rely on it. It's not going to help you, though. No, unfortunately. Wow, I think I've lost my elite category here. There it is. Okay. World government. Thank you for that link. Okay. Well, I think we covered the territory, everybody. I don't need to go into detail other than maybe give you guys a picture of the false flaggery at the very end here. You know, the pictures of the shell casings, I think, is all we really need to do. Max Egan is trying to claim that the shotgun went off and that the pellets were so small you couldn't capture them with the frame rate. I'm sorry, and then Scissor Fight suggested that somebody should challenge Max Egan to try to blow a windshield out with a shotgun and see if it doesn't bounce back at him. I mean, that guy is a real shill for the New World Order, Max Egan is. Right. We'll talk more about the Marco Rubio law that's they're putting on the bench regarding gun control with people suffering from mental problems. We knew this was coming from the Republicans. So if you're an NRA supporter, I want you to look at our party seriously. We are not going to give up your right to bear arms. We're going to defend your right to bear arms at all costs. We want a strong America right down to the individual. And what their government is doing under Marco Rubio is pretty intense. Wow. Yeah, okay. So I'm still looking for that article that was for Marco Rubio, Scissor Fight, if you've happened to find it. Yeah, I lost it.
To my right is Bounty Law Series.
Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Okay, I'll play that. At least you're not endorsing the traditional line of New Zealand attacks. Yeah, that'll be good. Thank you, Peas Dits. I'm not trying to do anything but raise the simple specter of reality right in front of us, which is we've been lied to. There doesn't take a lot to get beyond that. And now Jussie Smollett, that investigation is rolling out. We had numerous confirmation online here that even the Chicago PD is upset. They're not going to sit back and watch this thing just roll out with just Jussie getting no charges. It turns out Michelle was behind this, Michelle Obama, that she contacted one of the Kim Foxes, who's the prosecutor involved with Jussie Smollett. And this is a complete, utter, connected mess, and it should actually come to the forefront. Okay, these are the important things that happened in the New Zealand attack that we need to look at. Let me move total collusion out. There was CGI effects used the shell casings, and no shotgun fired through the window. Those are the important things to validate the obvious New Zealand fakery that's gone on. I don't think we can just ignore that. All right. Yeah, total collusion. Yeah, let's not forget the total collusion. So, let's play that video for you on my way out. Just want to get that. Wow. Here it is. Yeah, not one single shell casing fell on the ground. I don't know what the statistic is for California spending on immigrants. If you look at the state, Copenhagen Dipper, the state's population of 30 million, and you could almost say that there's 10 million illegal aliens and immigrants, if not more, because our population of 20 million advanced to 30 million with the advent of illegal immigration. Then 1/3 of the budget is going toward illegal or immigrant populations. So 1/3 of their budget, I would say, just off the top based on the population itself. God's Chosen People, a documentary banned from YouTube. Oh, okay. I'll play it later. Thanks. Yeah, who knows? Yeah, what really lies in the Vatican's secret archives? I was talking to somebody recently about the Vatican and how they really need to start prosecuting priests in America who are pedophiles. But yeah, what are they hidden in the Vatican archives? I mean, that's really kind of the question. Right, their books have been written about that. The Da Vinci Code comes to mind. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know the answer to that question. But if you read the article, you'll find out. Accessing the private archives. I'm more interested in knowing why they have a building shaped like a snake. Yeah, that's the part I'll end the show with tonight. Yeah, it's just hard to believe that they would, put together a Vatican building that looks like a reptile. It's shocking, in fact. As a former Catholic, I'm just appalled. Yeah, absolutely appalled. And the more you look at this item, you see there is a snake there. It's like no doubt about it. That's a snake with a little tongue hanging out. I'll play that later, yeah. And there's a weird picture of Jesus, or is it Jesus? Is it Lucifer? And the pontiff sits there in the middle of that, just a mountain of demons all around him. And then some rising, shining image of some demon. I think it's a tribute to Lucifer, to me. I mean, it makes no sense that they would create so I think the church has fallen from grace significantly. And I question whether they're going to be prosecuting any pedophiles. All right, this has been fun. I can't say it's been an illuminating experience because I'd sound like I was an Illuminati member, so I don't want to say that. But Juicy Smollett flipped all over tonight. He's going to be dealing with the aftermath of this as he's been released and charges have been dropped. Donald Trump is gloating in the success of somehow rigging Mueller to vote in his favor with the help of William Barr, who he assigned as our Attorney General, who is on record writing a letter in defense of Michael Flynn, a known Russian agent. So I say this is not just no collusion, this is total collusion in our country right now with no end in sight. So we believe the best solution here is a centrist political campaign that will build and unite the country among the middle people both left and right, to challenge the corruption in our government at the highest levels. And if we cannot do that, then we are of no purpose or value. We're just going to be waiting for the end, just sitting here like gerbils waiting for, the big end, which is clearly an attempt to create Agenda 2030, Agenda 21.
Just cannot handle the sheer number of humans who live here. Something has to give.
And that's Agenda 21 right there. All right, we'll see you guys later. Thank you for coming in. I will be back tomorrow with another big show, a really big show. Yeah, yowza, yowza, yowza. The beat goes on. Take it easy. We'll be back, and I stay in the chat room and chat with you guys for 4 more hours, so hang in there, or 3.5 more hours. So we'll be playing lots of videos and all kinds of things we couldn't play on the recorded broadcast. See ya. Bye-bye.
America is ready for a change. A third party is the change we need. Accountability in government, term limits for Congress, media verification, and a fresh approach to fixing our environment. We need a new direction for our nation. Join us in the middle of the political spectrum for our nightly commentary and discussion at America's Third Party.